Welcome back to Halftime Speech. This is episode 7. Today we're going to be doing our NFL playoff predictions, our seeding for the 2022-2023 season. We're going to do 1 through 7, so just whatever team makes the playoffs, and let's just start it. Let's go NFC. My 1 seed was the Buccaneers, and your 1 seed was the Packers. I had the Buccaneers because I think Tom Brady is retiring after this season. He almost did this year, so I think he wants to run back one more year and then he's gone. So he's got that mentality. He's like, let's end it off on a ring. So maybe he doesn't get the ring, but I think he's gonna get the 1 seed at least and is gonna be a Super Bowl contender. So that's why I have the Buccaneers.
I can understand that for sure. Buccaneers have a still great team, still great QB. Tom Brady hasn't missed a step. You're going to see it again this season. I'm kind of leaning towards the Packs only because I know they lost Devontae, but Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and I know they're going to get some good. Didn't they pick up a receiver in the draft, right?
They got Christian Watson, but he's really raw. So I'm not sure how he's going to perform in his rookie season. I think he's going to end up being a good player, but I don't know how he's
He
going
was
to
a
be in his
solid
rookie
wide receiver
season.
in college, but I really do see a little good bit of potential. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers, Packers ending number 1 seed. I think it's like almost a guaranteed. Buccaneers could take that. Um, but other than that, I could also still Buccaneers. I like that one. I might want to switch them to 1 solely because they're gonna have a great record this season. They probably won. I want to say they'll go.
And they ended up extending Chris Godwin, so he's back. And he should.
Yeah, I know.
He's back from
Mike Evans and
injury.
Godwin as
Mike
a wide
Evans.
receiver is going to be
And they
great.
signed Russell Gage, who's really good wide receiver 3 for them.
Yeah,
And
of
they have
course.
playoff Lenny and
Hmm.
good offensive line. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
they ended up taking D end Logan Hall in the draft with their first pick. Packers, I like their squad. I love their defense. Their defense is super good. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers has enough weapons to get him the 1 seed. So number 2, I have
I
the
can understand
Rams,
that.
and you also have the Rams, Super Bowl champions this year. So I don't think it needs much explaining why they're going to be high. They're going to contend for the 1 seed. But you know they don't have OBJ anymore. He's gone. They don't have Robert Woods anymore, which they didn't really have him last season because he got hurt pretty early on. So it's just Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson and Van Jefferson maybe. So that's solid. I like it. I think they're gonna be a contender again and a very high seed. So that's what I got.
That's what I mean. Yeah, Rams are a great team. They're coming right off of a Super Bowl. Sucks I don't have OBJ and Robert Williams, but they still got a great team going on. They still do.
Yep. Let's go on number 3. I had the Packs and you had the Bucks, so kind of our 1 seeds are flipped in the 3.
Yep.
Like I said, for the Packers, I don't see them getting higher than this because of the lack of weapons Aaron Rodgers has. But I do see them getting this high. I think Aaron Rodgers is still a three, top 2 quarterback in the league. The thing I really love about the Packers is their defense is really good. They have a really really good defense, and they even got better defense this year than they had last year when they drafted Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt in round 1. So I like the Packers squad. I think they're going to be a high seed.
Well, yeah, we already talked about Bucks and Packs. I don't think we need to keep going much on about them.
Yep. So let's go number 4. It's going to be a new team because we've all had the same 3 teams. I had the Eagles, and you also had the Eagles. So the 4 seed is going to be the winner of the NFC East more likely because I don't see Eagles or Cowboys getting higher than one of these 3 teams. So, and do like the Eagles more than the Cowboys. I love Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to break out. I love AJ Brown pickup. That was a steal. They didn't give up that much. They only gave up a first and a third to the Titans. And then Devontae Smith is gonna probably do better this season. He was really good last season. They have a really good offensive line. They have a solid run back group. I don't think the run back group is amazing, but it's good. And then pickups for the defense. So, yeah, I love their squad. I love it, and
Yeah.
see them being better than the Cowboys. So that's why I have the Eagles. Let's go into number 5 here. This is the beginning of our wild cards. We both had the Saints. I want to hear you talk about the Saints before I do.
All right. Well, we did talk about them on our last episode on how they added a bunch of new weapons here, and it's going to be a great season for them. Only thing is, their QB James Winston. I also want to talk about Drew Brees potentially coming back. I
Okay.
don't know how well that's going to work with them. It may or may not affect their record for the better or worse.
If I'm
Uh,
them, I'm sticking with Jameis Winston, even if Drew Brees does come back.
if Drew Brees wants to come back, I'd have him there solely to be the veteran and help lead James Winston to be a better quarterback than he is right now.
That'd
That's
be
going to
good
be an
for
amazing
Jameis.
improvement for Saints. And
Yeah,
then
but
if Kamara
yeah,
doesn't get suspended, that's also going to be a great option for them to have. Even if they don't have him, they still have the other, like they still have options to have besides Kamara. But still, he's a beast. He's a dog. He's a great. They have Michael Thomas, an amazing wide receiver. They all around. They just have weapons on that team, and seeing them in the fifth seed, I think it's a little perfect. Eagles they may be a little better than Eagles, but
I
I
like
think
it more.
Eagles can take the seed.
The Saints are my number one sleeper team. I love the Saints team this year. I love Jameis Winston. I think he's gonna win comeback player of the year. He's gonna have a really good season like he did last year before he got hurt. You know, and now last year his wide receiver one was, I don't even know, Marquez Callaway. Shoot, it wasn't good. Now Michael Thomas is gonna come back. You drafted Chris Olave, who's probably gonna be your slot, and you also signed Jarvis Landry a few days ago. So he has all the weapons, and they drafted Trevor Penning, who's a really good tackle, and I really like that fit there. So their offense is going to be really good, and then let's talk about their defense. I think linebackers is good, but not amazing. Actually, Demario Davis is really good, but other than that, their linebacker is kind of mid. But then, in my opinion, the best secondary in the NFL. You picked up Marcus May. You picked up Tyrann Mathieu. You're gonna play C.J. Gardner Johnson at your nickel. You're gonna play Paulson Adebo, probably your corner outside two, and Marshawn Lattimore. And then I think that's 5 really 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 good guys. So that's the best secondary in the league in my opinion. And then you're still gonna have I'm forgetting his name. It's Cameron something, and then Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner, who you drafted last year. So I really love the Saints' defense and offense, and I think they, this might be a little crazy, but I think they have a chance to win the NFC South above the Bucks.
Ooh, oh
I don't think
wow,
it's gonna happen, but they have a chance.
that is a big take. But we like bold takes here.
All right, that's pretty much
But
all that has
moving
to be
on,
said about the Saints. Yeah, and then
that's fine.
Alvin Kamara too might not play. I don't know what's up with that situation, but I'm pretty sure that he should be in the clear. But even if he's not, you still have Mark Ingram, who's really good. So I love the
Right,
Saints
right,
this
right.
year. Vikings, Cardinals. Vikings. I like the Viking squad. I love Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison as your 1-2 punch. Kirk Cousins has been reliable, and then you have a good receiver core. So that's solid defense. I think they're gonna make a playoff push this year.
I think same goes for my pick. The Cardinals here, they have amazing wide receiver core. It sucks D Hop's suspended, but they have Hollywood Brown
He'll be back.
and Yeah, exactly. So seeing them in the playoffs will be even better to see. I feel like that's the only reason I have them a little lower. I would have them as a top four if they had D Hop all season. They're an amazing team, and their defense is pretty solid as it is too. They have Kyle Murray, which is I don't think he's worth the money he's asking for, which is pretty absurd. It's an absurd amount, but he's still a great QB in the league, and with the help he has on the offensive tools, it's going to be a good season for sure.
Yeah, I like the Cardinals squad, and I really like the Vikings squad too. So let's move on to number 7 from the NFC. I have the Cardinals, and you have the Vikings. So we pretty much just talked about these. These are flip flop for us. Um, I like the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is gonna be playing for his money, so he's gonna have the motivation to play amazing, so he can get money. D Hop's gonna be back week 7. You traded for Marquise Brown. Rondell Moore is gonna get better. I really like Rondell Moore a lot. You have AJ Green still. You kept Zach Ertz, and you have a decent line and a solid defense. So I like the Cardinals, and then I think the Cowboys could make the playoffs over the Vikings or Cardinals, but I'm just not a fan of the Cowboys this year. CeeDee Lamb is good, but he's not better than Amari Cooper.
Right.
And even with Amari Cooper, they were mediocre. So, and you also lost Cedric Wilson, who is a reliable target for Dak. So, Dak doesn't have very many targets this year, and Zeke is not very good anymore. So, I think Zeke could probably be the RB2 this year on that team. I think Tony Pollard's going to be better than Zeke.
Tony
Uh,
Pollard's amazing, amazing running back.
yeah, if I'm a fantasy owner, I'm drafting Tony Pollard before I'm drafting Zeke, and they're on the same team.
Hmm.
So, and then their defense, they didn't bolster up the secondary. They drafted Tyler Smith, who's an offensive lineman who's not that great. Um, so they had a really bad draft. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like their offseason. Their offseason was horrible. So that's why I don't have the Cowboys making the playoffs. But, it's possible they could make it. So let's move on to our AFC now. Number 1 seed, I have Chargers, and you have Bills. I like the Chargers. Chargers. Justin Herbert is my MVP selection. Um, and then
Josh Allen is a running up for me.
yeah, I think Josh Allen's my runner up, or Deshaun Watson. Then you have Austin Eckler, who's good. You drafted Isaiah Spiller, which I really like to take a little slack off Austin Eckler. You got a better offensive line, and you have really good weapons, and a top 3 defense in the league now because you brought in J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack. You already have Joey Bosa. You brought in Sebastian Joseph Day to, run the stuff or stuff the run, and which was probably the biggest weakness of this team. So you got a good player to do that, and yeah, Derwin James is just gonna get better. So Chargers.
Oh yeah, honestly, same goes for Bills. They added all the tools they needed this season. It would help on the defense like crazy with Von Miller, and then their offense has always been good. So Bills just adding on to what they already had almost mastered. There's not a single thing this year, a single piece that they're missing to have a number 1 seed, an amazing playoff push, Super Bowl contender. Dane could probably take the trophy like easily. Josh Allen's an amazing QB, in my opinion, second best QB in the league. Maybe only ones that could probably beat him is like Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, the same ones like every year. He's going to lead the Bills. Stephon Gilmore and then Devin Singletary. Singletary's not the best running back, but he's solid enough. Yeah, as we noticed from previous episodes, we've talked about how running backs aren't going to be. You don't need a superstar running back to win the Super Bowl. You need like mediocre one, so they have more room, more money to spend on others, splurge a little bit, which is exactly what the Bills did, and they have all the help they needed. If Stephon Gilmore, Stephon Gilmore, if Diggs gets injured, it's gonna suck for the Bills, but they still have more help. I don't I don't see an injury on Diggs in the future.
He's been pretty durable. He
Right,
hasn't
right.
had too many. but you have obviously Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. So yeah, I it's between Chargers and Bills for me. So number two, we had a flip flop. So I'm gonna talk about the Bills. Josh Allen is my runner up in MVP. Could is a very possible winner for the MVP. Running back room is solid. It's not amazing, but it's solid. And wide receiver group is really good. Good offensive line, and then amazing defense. Top five safety duo. Brought in Von Miller. He drafted Gregory Rousseau last year, who's only going to get better. So, Bills, I love them this year and are very realistic Super Bowl contenders.
Well, yeah, we both already talked about Chargers and Bills. We basically just had our picks flip flopped. Top two teams that could probably take the AFC. That's for sure.
Yep. Number three, Bengals and Browns. So this is going to come down to the winner of the AFC North for the third seed. You had the Bengals, I had the Browns. It could also be the Ravens. So the AFC North is good. Bengals, they made the Super Bowl last year and they got better. They have arguably the best top three running backs. Not like the best three running backs in the league, but like the best wide receiver group in the league. Tyler Boyd is probably the best wide receiver three in the league. So I love the Bengals have an amazing offense. Joe Burrow is going to be a superstar. He already is a superstar, but he's only getting better. So and
Yeah,
then
of
they
course.
drafted Daxton Hill to help with their secondary, which was much needed. He's very versatile. He could play safety, or he could play corner, or he could maybe play low linebacker. I love Daxton Hill, so it was a great pickup. And Super Bowl runner-ups only got better, so that's why I have them higher than the Browns and Ravens.
I feel like with Browns, even though they're not the Super Bowl runner-ups, Bengals are still a great team. But Browns just added a little much more firepower on their team this year. With Amari Cooper and Deshaun, we've already talked about this previous episodes, like I said before. We've touched on the Browns a good bit. They're an amazing team, and they're going to be heading into the season with full on firepower. Whether Deshaun gets suspended or not, no, actually, no. If he gets suspended, I don't see this happening. But if he doesn't, if he stays in, I feel like they're going to be a big menace. And they're gonna take the North for sure.
Yeah, if Deshaun gets suspended, they have. I think their backup is.
Baker.
No, I don't think Baker's gonna play for them. I don't think Baker is gonna. He's not gonna step on the field ever again. So they traded for a backup.
Wait, hold on that.
I
I
can't.
feel like Baker will solely so he can get traded to a team that will want him, so he can prove
Yeah, but
himself.
but Baker also is a free agent next year. So, and I think the Browns just end up cutting him before they play him. So
I don't know.
I
They
think
may
that's
trade
a
him just for the
mutual I
pick.
think that would be a mutual agreement that Baker's not going to play even if Deshaun's not playing. But I know they traded for somebody. No, are they signed somebody? I'm not completely sure who they signed as their third string or their backup, but they signed somebody solid. So yeah, let's go on number four. This is the winner of the AFC South. I had the Colts and you had the Jaguars. The Colts. So I think it's between Colts, Jaguars, and Titans, and whichever is the winner makes the playoffs, and whichever is the whatever two don't win the AFC South are not even making the playoffs at all. So the Colts, Jonathan Taylor, if he replicates what he did last year, that's why I see it. I think the Colts and Titans are very similar teams. So I got the Colts making it over those two teams.
I can understand that. I feel like Jags just have more depth in their team in general with the pickups they made during the offseason and then the draft. They have a lot of great potential here, and Colts really only have Jonathan Taylor and a veteran QB.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Jags for a sec because I know a lot of people aren't going to see this coming, but I'm not really against the Jags making it over those two teams. I think they could be like this year's Bengals type. They have the second year quarterback. They just got They have a deep wide receiver group. Just got a new receiver. Um, so they have a solid O line too. I don't mind their O line at all. It kind of sucks losing Brandon Linner to retirement, but I like their offensive line. They're gonna have James Robinson and Travis Etienne is gonna come back from injury. He didn't play at all last year, but he was like a first round running back last year, so he's good. And then you got pickups on the defense, Travon Walker, and I can't remember who else, but Devin Lloyd, that's who else. So they had an amazing offseason. They got a lot of pickups, and I think they're gonna be contenders, like legit contenders for the AFC South. Um, Not contenders for the Super Bowl like the Bengals were, but the Jaguars I think could have some success this year.
Yeah. They have a good push for sure.
All right, let's go on number 5. These are our AFC wild cards. I had the Chiefs and you had the Ravens.
Yes, yes, yes.
The Chiefs did lose Tyreek Hill, but they still have top 3 quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes. Top
They did come
1.
up positive in
Yeah,
that draft.
they had an amazing draft. They were top 2, potentially top 1 draft this year. They landed a good receiver in late round 2, landed a good linebacker late round 3, landed a good tackle guard hybrid kind of in like round 5, and then you had Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis, who were really, really, really good value for your picks in late round 1. So I think the Chiefs had possibly the best draft, and you still have Juju, who is good, and then you have a deep wide receiver group. So not as much star power as you did before, but you still have a deep wide receiver group for the Chiefs.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
also brought in Ronald Jones.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Want to
let's talk about
move?
the
Well,
Ravens.
let's talk about Ravens for a bit. Ravens, they have the baby goat, Lamar Jackson. Him coming in healthy, he had a way really good season last year, and I can only see improvement to his passing game. He's already a great running game, one of the best running QBs we've seen in a long time. And it sucks seeing the loss of Hollywood Brown for that team, but I know he's going to be able to pull through. He's going to have a good bit more. The line is nice. Their defense is nice. Everything they have potential to be a way higher seed. I just want to see what's going to happen with this wide receiver core.
Yeah, if they end up landing like Julio Jones or Odell, I could see them winning the AFC North.
Shoot, I know Antonio Brown wanted to go. Odell could sign. Julio Jones could
Antonio
sign.
Brown just
And
said he wants to retire a Steeler, but
man, he just talks because he just wants to get signed to a
yeah,
team.
he just wants to get signed. He was kind of saying he wanted to play with the Ravens, and the Ravens were like, no. Now he's just saying stuff to get a job.
Right.
Which I liked Antonio Brown, but man, that was the stupidest thing you could have done. Just walk out on your team and get cut right after. That was so stupid. And I get like his reasoning, but you gotta have some common sense. You're making a
Some
ton of money.
professionalism.
Yeah, you're making a ton of money, dude. Like I kind of get it, and I get why we're upset about the situation and your ankle and Bruce Arians kind of not caring about you, but you could have handled that so more professional instead of just taking off your shirt and running out of the field. So it's just, but the Ravens, your wide receiver one is Rashad Bateman, who I think has real like star potential. I thought that last year coming into the draft, but he's your wide receiver one, and he's a second year player who didn't show much last year. So I don't know how that's gonna, I don't know how he's gonna play, and I don't really know who's your wide receiver two. Devin Duvernay, you really should give whatever money you have left at Odell, and then but your defense is amazing. Your defense is amazing, and you had a really good draft. So that's why you have them. I had the Browns for for number 6, and you have the Chiefs. Um,
Yes.
Deshaun Watson could possibly get suspended. I'm not sure if he will. You have Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples Jones, who's good, and you have the best 1-2 punch in the league with your running backs and a good defense. So, yeah, the AFC is so stacked. It was really hard to rank.
Yeah, it's tough to see, but I'm surprised you have Browns below Chiefs.
I think Browns could win the AFC, but I have them at 6. That's kind of how crazy this AFC race is going to be. I think any
Yeah,
of
I
these
can 100% agree with that one.
I think the Chiefs, the Browns, the Bengals, the Bills, or the Chargers could all get the 1 seed. And I have the Browns and the Chiefs at 5 and 6, and I think they could win the 1 seed. So it's going to be a crazy, crazy playoff race for the AFC teams. But I want to hear what you got to say about the Chiefs.
Chiefs, I feel like they're doing a smart move by you going on, not giving Tyreek Hill so much money and moving on for more younger players that have really good potential, yet still keeping their amazing top 5 QB. I feel like it's a smart move. They still have all the things they need. They still have Kelsey. They got the moves. They got the line. They got defense. They're still a top team in their AFC. It's gonna suck for them having to deal with more stacked powerhouse teams that really built up during the offseason. But in the long run, this was a great move for them.
Yeah, I think um, the Dolphins gave up too much for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is irreplaceable, and he's a one of a kind player, and he's amazing, and he's a top 5 wide receiver. But they gave up so much, and the Chiefs saved a lot of money, and they got a lot of draft assets. So I think, like you said, in the long run, it's a good trade for the Chiefs. Number 7, I had the Ravens, and you had the Bengals.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of talked about the Ravens already. Rashad Bateman's your wide receiver 1, who I think is good, and I think he's going to end up being a star. But second year didn't really show much, and your wide receiver core is not good. That's why I have them as the lowest seed. I could see the Dolphins potentially getting in over the Ravens. I think they have a real chance at getting in over the Ravens. Um, but the Ravens have a really, really good defense, so that's kind of what gave me the edge.
I can say the same for the Bengals. As we just talked about, this is just division super stacked. I could still see Bengals being top 4. It's just I don't know the teams that stacked up this year. I think are just looking too good. I could see Bengals passing Chiefs and Ravens. Jags, I don't know too much, but they're gonna make it. They're gonna make a good push in the playoffs too. That's for sure. This is just my opinion on the seeding wise.
Yeah, I love the Bengals squad. They were this runner up in the Super Bowl, and they got even better. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
so these are our NFL playoff predictions for the 2022 to 2023 season. There could be a lot of changes. This probably isn't going to be right. We're kind of basing this off if no one gets hurt, but every year there's unfortunately like a major injury to like Justin Herbert could go down for the rest of the season, and then the Chargers wouldn't even make the playoffs, and the Dolphins would take their spot, and everybody would just move up, which is super unfortunate. And yeah, so it's it's bound to happen. So this isn't going to be right. There's probably going to be a major injury, which leads one of these teams out of the playoffs, or just really injury riddled. But it's bound to happen. These aren't going to be right, but I think right now, these are very accurate. Kind of
I think it's very
our
solid. Yeah.
rankings. Yeah. So I really like this. So this is our rankings, and until next time.
Hope you enjoyed.